You know that feeling, right? It hits you around 3 p.m. where your brain just feels full, like you can't possibly process one more email. Well, that's not just you being tired. It's something called cognitive fatigue. And today, we're going to break down what this massive challenge is in the modern workplace, and more importantly, explore a really cool, science-backed way to get our focus back.
All right, first up, let's explore why this whole idea of cognitive fatigue is becoming, maybe, the single biggest unaddressed risk to productivity and performance in today's offices.
This slide, it just nails the core issue, doesn't it? For generations, work was about physical labor. Today, it's almost all mental labor. The strain isn't on our backs anymore, it's on our brains, and we are pushing them to their absolute limits day in and day out.
So what's really driving this? Well, it's pretty much everything about our modern workday. You've got that Zoom fatigue, it is a real thing. We're making decisions constantly, back to back, with no downtime. We're switching from a spreadsheet to a slide deck, to an email, to a chat. It's just this continuous context switching. And all the while, we're just getting flooded with information. Honestly, it's just emotionally draining.
And here's a really important shift in thinking. This isn't just some wellness perk or an HR problem to solve with a yoga class. No. This is about the fundamental infrastructure we need for high performance. Think about it. You need a fast computer, right? You need reliable internet. Well, you also need a way for your brain to recover. It's an essential tool for success.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. We've seen how this affects us individually. But now, let's look at how this problem scales up and becomes a massive, measurable cost for the entire organization. We all know that post-2 p.m. productivity cliff. It's when quality and speed just fall off a cliff. But it's so much more than that. When your teams are mentally tired, they make more mistakes. That means costly rework. And what's the very first thing to go when you're fatigued? Creative, strategic thinking, innovation. Over time, this daily grind leads straight to burnout and people leaving.
Okay, I know that sounds a little bleak, but what if there was a way to break this cycle? Well, the good news is, there is. Now we're going to dive into the actual science behind a really targeted way to achieve rapid neural recovery.
And the data on this is just fascinating. Check this out. Scientific studies show that a short, structured rest period can lead to a 34% gain in performance and a massive 54% boost in alertness. These aren't tiny little tweaks. These are absolute game-changing results.
So that leads to the obvious question. Is there a magic number? Why is it always 20 minutes? Is that just a random guess? Nope. Turns out the answer is all about our brain's chemistry and our natural sleep cycles.
See, this 20-minute window is the absolute sweet spot. As you work all day, this neurotransmitter called adenosine builds up in your brain. It basically creates sleep pressure. That's what makes you feel foggy and tired. This short rest is just long enough to clear out that adenosine, but it's short enough to keep you from falling into deep sleep. That way, you don't wake up feeling all groggy. It's like rebooting your brain, boosting memory, and restoring your processing speed.
And let's be really, really clear here. We're not talking about just taking a quick nap at your desk. This is a targeted, engineered process. It's a controlled neural restoration, specifically designed for one outcome: renewed focus and getting back to peak performance. So how do you deliver this kind of precise, controlled restoration in the middle of a busy office? Well, you can't just wing it. You need technology that's been specifically designed for the job.
And here it is, the Urban Naps Wellness Pod. And notice how it's framed here, not as a comfy lounge chair, but as a piece of performance infrastructure. It's a tool built to deliver that 20-minute neural reset consistently and effectively every single time.
So let's take a quick look inside. The whole experience starts with physical relaxation. You get into this zero-gravity position, which takes all the pressure off your spine and actually improves circulation. And at the same time, a gentle massage immediately starts to trigger your body's relaxation response. Then, it gets to work on your brain directly. You get enriched oxygen to enhance mental clarity for when the session is over. And remember all that constant context switching and information overload we talked about? The guided meditation audio is the perfect countermeasure. It cuts through all that mental chatter and guides your mind into a deeply restorative state. It's really a complete system for recovery.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Let's talk about the return on investment by looking at a fantastic case study with SAP Labs.
So, SAP didn't just, try one out. They went for it. They deployed over 10 of these pods across their campus. That's not a small pilot program. That's a strategic investment.
They integrated neural recovery right into their work environment. And the response from employees? It was incredible. In less than a year, they had over 10,000 bookings. This proves it wasn't just some cool novelty that wore off after a week. No, it became a core part of their workday because people could actually feel the difference and they actively sought it out. So what was the total impact? Get this. An incredible 128,000 minutes of structured neural recovery were logged across the entire workforce. Just think of that as a cumulative cognitive asset, a massive reinvestment in the creative and analytical power of their team, paying them back every single day.
So the huge takeaway from the SAP case study is that this wasn't a fad. Usage stayed high, which proves it's not just a cool perk. It is a proven, high-impact piece of workplace infrastructure, period.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? For any organization that's serious about high performance, investing in cognitive recovery isn't really optional anymore. The real question is how quickly can you make it part of your strategy?
For anyone who wants to learn more about bringing this kind of infrastructure to their organization, here's the direct contact information. Thanks so much for joining me.